Hello, beautiful, and welcome back to another episode of Beautiful, I Am Colored. My name is Evelyn, and this is the place where I share insights and perspectives that I've gained from my week. I share them with you with the hope that it can bring a sense of hope and healing for your life. And I got an interesting story to tell you that is not even related to today's topic at all. But I felt, sorry, those are my keys. I'm just getting back from my walk. So I felt impressed upon doing my workout because, most of you know, at least the regular listeners know that I like to listen to gospel music, sometimes trap, but mostly gospel music when I work out. And so because that is a channeling routine that I do, it's kind of like where I get my downloads, among other things. Anyhow, so today I got this revelation while I was working out. And I'm going to tell you about that in a second. But before I get into that, we always like to set the groundwork on this show, on this podcast. And that is where I offer up and share it with you a moment of gratitude in a segment I call shout outs and thank yous. And this week, I am so thankful for, number one, having the mind to make a decision that I know is good for me. Here's what I mean by that. Sometimes, your first mind tell you, do X over here. And you question your first mind sometimes. Sometimes you don't follow through every single time your first mind tells you to do something. But this particular week, my first mind told me to do a few things, one of which I won't get into, the other one I will in a second. And I'm just so thankful for having the wherewithal and the, the openness to listen to my first mind and then follow through with it. One encounter in particular was yesterday, because y'all know, so we got season tickets to the CU Bucks game. Yes, you heard me. We got season tickets. Y'all know Marlon used to play and stuff. And so the players get, exceptionally discounted season tickets if you lettered at the university. Anyhow, so we go to all the home games. It's turned into kind of like our regular dates in the interim while football season is in. And so yesterday we drove to the game, found some great parking, and we decided to leave the game during the third quarter, and because we both like cigars too, which most of y'all know that by now. And if you don't, you just learned something new about me. So we were like, where in Boulder can we go to get these cigars, right? This is a shout out and thank you still, by the way. And so we looked it up really quick and found a place. They have two locations in, looks like in Colorado. It's the Casbar Cigars. There's one in Lafayette, and then there's another one in Parker. So the one in Lafayette was going to kind of take us off the beaten path in terms of the major highways to get back to town anyway. And then we were going to finish watching the game at this Casbar Cigar Lounge. Y'all, listen, when I tell you, you hear my voice, how it's like kind of a little raspy because that's what the cigars do to you, but whatever. So we get to this place. First of all, customer service, 5 out of 5 stars. Second of all, cleanliness level, 4.5 to 5 out of 5 stars. The friendliness, the whole vibe, it was just a whole grown atmosphere. And quite frankly, it is the best cigar lounge I have been to since I started smoking cigars. And so Marlon and I was like, maybe we just found ourselves another little spot. And it didn't even stop there. So, you don't want to smoke cigars on an empty stomach because, well, that's a story for another time. You don't want to smoke cigars on an empty stomach because that's a whole problem. So I was smoking my little cigar. I couldn't finish the whole thing, so I saved it for later. But just down the little path in this little storefront area where it's located is a restaurant called Real Fish, which is like a seafood spot. And so I have mostly during the week not been eating meat for the past 3 weeks. But this spot has some seafood. So we got all the little snacks, fried pickles, the bad stuff, fried pickles, fried fish, loaded fries. When I tell you, we just had such an amazing date. And then it was so peaceful. It was so peaceful, y'all. Anyway, that is what I'm grateful for. Just the willingness to follow through with your first mind. I'm so glad we ended up leaving the game earlier and watching it at the cigar bar, spending time together and just relaxing. It was just such a good vibe. And of course, this is my favorite time of year too. Autumn is upon us, so the nights have been just amazing. Anyway, I hope that you had a great week this week. I'm going to come right back because I got two little segments to share with you today. One is that story that I promised you, and I'm probably going to hit you with that first. And then second, I'm going to hit you with today's topic, which is titled The In-Between Place. Okay, I actually just pulled back up to the house, and it is literally, usually I take like just a pause and then record the next segment, but it's going to be a few minutes before I come back this time, even though in virtual land it won't be a few minutes. Okay, y'all get what I'm saying. I hope everyone is having a great Sunday today. I am on a little bit of a schedule because I'm going to brunch to meet up with a colleague here soon, but I'll be right back with those two segments in just a moment. Stay tuned. Okay, so I'm back, and I don't know, maybe like 30 minutes or 40 minutes has elapsed because I got ready to go to brunch before I recorded this segment, but whatever, that's neither here nor there. Let me get to this quick story that I want to share with you. So this past week, I was blessed, and I'm going to say blessed because I just believe in finding something positive out of everything if I possibly can. And the things that I can't find that in, I just leave well enough alone. Anyhow, so I was talking to someone I know this week, and when they walked up to me, I said hello, and they said hello back. And then I got one of the most unpleasant compliments that I have received in a long time. And that was, you're always judging me, is what this person said, which is funny to me because, and by funny, I don't mean haha, I mean the irony in it, or it's that statement was ironic because I didn't pass judgment on you. And so, but when I get criticism, regardless of if it's constructive or not, I have a habit of processing that and trying to see what is the underlying issue here and what is my part, right? Because everybody is responsible for themselves. And if you've been listening to me long enough, then you know that I feel very convicted and strong in that. So I walked away from the conversation. I was kind of like, because I know I haven't did anything, malicious, intentional. I haven't said anything to this person, and we're not close personal friends at all. It's just a person that I know. And so I was really sitting with that, for a 24-hour period, I would say. And, the thing that came to me? The thing that came to me was sometimes when you are a person who is consistent, like your moral character, your values, your principles and stuff like that, and you're consistent, when you literally show up in a place, sometimes it can make other people feel convicted, right? Just your presence alone. And by presence, I'm not talking about your physical stature and your demeanor. I'm talking about the essence of who you are, like your spirit being. And so now, if you don't believe in this, that's fine. You can tune out or you can fast forward or log off or whatever. My point is this, is that when you are steadfast in your values, your principles, and the things that you know that have gotten you to the place where you are in life and you're happy with that, then don't get off your square because other people are very uncomfortable, or it makes other people very uncomfortable because of who you are. And then a little moment of caution. The moment of caution is this. Sometimes we can allow other people's perceptions and feelings and thoughts and words about us shift what we should be doing and what we've been called to do. Now, me, myself, ooh, I'm so funny. But me, myself, I have always had a very discerning nature. Like, I think in church, at least, it's called discerning. Like, it's called the gift of discernment. In the world, or secular wise, I think it's called an empath, I believe. I believe I'm saying that right. And so I just have a very high sensing meter. And the more I open up my channel to hear stuff, the higher that sensitivity becomes. So I can literally be in a room with people and I can feel and know things about them that I just, not because they told me, but it truly is like a gift. Sometimes it can feel like a burden. And so I think sometimes people may feel that come across for me, but it's not me being judgy or judgmental, because I definitely wouldn't want somebody to judge me or be judgmental. But there is a such thing as conviction. And so if the way I live my life is convicting you or shining light on an area of your life, I consider that to be a blessing. So that's why I wanted to say and share that story with you. If you are that person, out there, you may not have the gift of discernment or be an empath or whatever. Maybe you have some other gift, talent, or ability. Sometimes that can encroach upon other people's self-confidence and self-esteem and cause them to project things onto you that aren't necessarily true. What your job is to do is take what they say, and if it applies to you and you agree, work on what you need to work on. But if it doesn't apply to you and you don't agree, guess what? You get to leave it right where it was, with that person or with that group or with that company or with whatever. You get what I'm saying. So that's a little short story I wanted to tell you really quick because I felt compelled to share it with you on today. And so there you have it. Yes, there's a little bit more strength in my voice because I know that what I'm saying is the right thing for me to do, and it's the right thing for me to say in that moment. And so that if it's translating across the airwaves as a little bit more strength and firmness, that is the reason. I also am fully and keenly aware that I fight against principalities and spiritual beings. And so this is a high conversation. And so I'm hoping that those of you can go with me on that, then you understand what you understand. But Evelyn was created to fight against those things. And so because I can sense and feel those things, absent of the physical person that they might be coming through, that is why you hear the firmness in my voice. And hopefully that makes sense. But if not, that is what it is as well. Okay, that's all I wanted to share for this segment, that quick short story. Next, I want to go ahead, and usually I do a pause, but I'm just going to go ahead and cascade right into today's topic, the in-between place. And so y'all know, if you've been listening to me recently, because I've had these like stopgaps when I record and stuff, because I do not record when I'm not led to. That's just how this podcast works. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am on a schedule for sure. I do have a plan for sure. But if I have not been intentional about doing the work that I've called to do each Sunday that I put out a podcast, then I won't do it. Just because I understand, going back to what I just shared with you, I understand that my job, I'm one of the human beings that was created to fight against certain things. And so I don't take that lightly. Anyhow, the last few months, you all know that I kind of just been really kind of like in this weird, awkward stage where I'm questioning was questioning past tense, was questioning very deeply, like, how did I get to, this place that I'm in where I'm feeling like very like not fulfilled in terms of purpose and stuff like that. One of those things was, of course, taking a brief hiatus from Beautiful Lime Colored podcast. But the other thing, too, I think was looking too much on the outside at other things, other people, and then falling into that trap of, the compare, contrasting instead of just completely focusing on myself. And sometimes when you're in that moment where the in-between place, I'm calling it, where you are in between the person that is coming, you can like almost touch them, your future self, and the person that you're transitioning from. There's this really awkward moment in time that creates this dissonance of almost like a questioning the universe of like, did I hear what I heard? Even though you know it, you still question it. And what I want to speak to and say to that is this. When you're in the in-between place where you've done all that you could do to get you to the place that you're in, and now you're just kind of in that moment or in that season of life where you're working towards the you who is becoming, sometimes the only thing you can do is rest in the awkwardness. And, that's okay. Rest in the awkwardness. So rest in the awkwardness and the uncertainty of who you are progressing towards. And that is it is the moment I think that a lot of us, we choose to, that's where that fight or flight comes in at, right? Because it's so easy to retreat from who you know you are becoming, but because there's that dissonance that is at play, you kind of just throw out all these questions, right? Some people call it, imposter syndrome, from a scientific standpoint, which is a very real thing I can attest to. But really, it's that tension of growth period where you're transitioning that kind of a lot of people don't talk about, but it's kind of messy and it's kind of ugly. And it looks more like, kind of moments, not sustained periods, but moments of, questioning your confidence level, questioning, your abilities, your acumen, questioning your relationships even. And it's just like pounding on your mind. But I want to say this because you all know that when I talk to you each week, I'm not just talking to you, I'm also talking to myself, because who is talking right now is the spirit being Evelyn, but she also, and please forgive this churchy word, but she also ministers to the Evelyn that is, my mental, my logical side. And so with that being said, as some of us are in this season where we are experiencing the dissonance of crossing over into who we are, go ahead and just make up your mind and heart that you're going to rest in the awkwardness of the space. And I say that because there are too many people counting on you, counting on me to be the version of us who is becoming in the future that we need to be. And in order to do that, you have to be consistently disciplined about moving forward. And so when I say rest in awkwardness, I'm not saying stop everything. What I'm saying is get acquainted with what this feels like, because as you know, like life has a way of having patterns that repeat themselves. And so if you can master this in the season that you are in now, this next season that we'll be in shortly, after you cross over to the next season of the you who is becoming, then you will understand where you are and know what to do. And so by resting in awkwardness, because some of you will be like, girl, what you talking about? Like, what you mean by that? Some of you got it right away. I know that. Some of you are like, girl, I'm going to need you to unpack that a little bit more. Okay, so I got you. So resting in awkwardness. Okay. I don't really know what this next step is going to be for me to take, but here's what I do know. I know that prayer works for me. I know that working out works for me. I know that changing my diet works for me. I know that putting myself around people who are of like mind or who are already in a space and place where I am headed works for me. I know that sometimes I need to just take a break and come to myself and be by myself, whether that's reading a book, whether that's singing, whether that is yoga, whether that is just sitting and looking for some of us. All of those things, to me, they're still actionable items, right? That you're still doing something, but you're not necessarily at the place that you are going towards. And so that's what I mean when I say resting in awkwardness until you get to that stage of the next, right? That the you that is becoming. And so that is all that I wanted to share with you this week, which this is probably a little bit more lengthier podcast than normal, but y'all know I'm led by the spirit over here. So this is what I do. And I hope that today's message blessed somebody and that you were able to pull, even if it was just one point from what I said, even if it's a cigar bar and that's a gift idea that I planted the seed in. And clearly, because it's coming up, I planted the seed in somebody that, okay. Move on, Evelyn, because I'll get caught up in what I'm sensing right now. But the point is, I hope that, as always, you have found a sense of hope and healing in the things that I share with you, my insights and perspectives that I've gleaned from my week. I look forward to talking to you again next week. In the meantime, you know where to find me at beautifulimcolored.com. I'm also on Instagram where I post motivational, inspirational things each day, even if it's just greeting you and saying everyone have a great day. I'm also on Facebook now. I have started back writing blogs, which look like are going to be monthly or bi-monthly on my Facebook page, as well as on my website. And then for those of you who are interested, I would love it if you would take a moment to consider purchasing my book. I am being told that it definitely is impactful and that I am humbled by. And so, if you're interested in learning more about me personally, I kind of lay it all out on the line in my book. And of course, I share little snippets here throughout the week. Anyhow, friendly reminder, you already know what I'm about to say, my little tag at the end. Remember, the future you is waiting on you. But while you're waiting, go ahead and rest in the awkwardness. It's okay. We are progressing forward. Stay positive, stay motivated, do the work that you've been called to do. And I will see you again. By see, I mean here. You know what I'm saying. I will talk to you again next week. Have a great week, everyone. I'm going to rush on off to this brunch. Until next time, beautiful.